She's giving us thumb up.
Three and one.
You gonna say one? You say one. Okay. And start over. Oh, no, really go.
Hey, everyone. Ooh,
Everybody, yes.
Director's
This is
giving us the
live.
look.
Yeah, this is live.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of The King and I being Mrs.
SWK, Shirley Maria Walker King, Miss SWK, that lady, she did that, whichever one you want to pick. Hi. How you doing?
I don't know what's going on with all the hand motions. Yeah. Anyway, I hope everyone's being safe as you can be out there amidst the coronavirus, COVID-19. Sure everyone's dealing with it, whether you're working or not. Just try to keep yourself safe. Did I say stay?
Keep yourself safe.
Safe. Don't drop your guards down. I know they're opening up everything. I've been consistently working, but the city's opening back up. Just try not to drop your guards. Continue to wash your hands, wear your mask. When you come in the house, take your shoes off. I have to pretty much dethrone when I come through the doors.
Yes, sir.
I'm hearing, I heard too that it lives on your shoes. Mm-hmm. So, people take your shoes off when you come in the house. Talked to a couple coworkers, they said the same thing. Their wives make them take off clothes at the door and, put on something, go take a shower. So continue to do that, to keep yourself and your family safe as much as you can.
Ditto what he said. Yeah, again, just because some of the cities and states are opening up, just be safe. If we all take our personal safety into consideration, that will then in turn be a domino effect for everybody. So again, like Vincent said, don't let your guard down. As Valencia said when we were at the Mavericks game, wash your hands, watch what you say, and be safe. She may have said some other stuff, but that's what we got. Yeah.
We're jumping to it.
Yeah, so we were kind of giving everybody a chance to come on board with us. So again, welcome to our Facebook Live. This is about marriage and mental health. I am Shirley Walker King, and this is my lovely husband, Vincent King, if you're just coming in.
D. Leon. Middle name is D. Leon.
D. Leon. Depending on where he is.
D-E-L-E-O-N. Vincent D. Leon King. De Leon.
De Leon.
Pops is French.
Yes, his pops was French. So yes, we have been married for 28 years. Just kind of real brief synopsis. We've been married 28 years. He hanging in there, girl.
Now, you see I move a little closer. I got a little feedback kind of saying that, hey man, you're kind of sitting on the side a little distance. Which, after watching it, I said, man, I need to scoot in a little bit next to my wife. But I appreciate the feedback. That's what this is for. So I didn't want to look like I didn't want to be in the frame, but just relaxing. So they told me to straighten up. So, hey, that's good feedback. So I need to tighten that up. Square that away, as I would say. My negative days get squared away.
As they say, Cleveland, sit up.
She's a hater.
I'm not a hater. I'm a participator and a lover of all those things. Great. At any rate.
Anyway,
yes.
We're going to speak about marriage and mental health.
Yes.
This evening.
Yeah, I'm going to put on my reader so I can make sure I get everything correctly, because we want to make sure we give our disclaimer too. So, mental disorders can have a very large impact on relationships, marriages, and even lead to divorce. Mental disorders range from alcohol abuse, anxiety, mood disorders, depressions, bipolar, personality, eating disorders, phobias, and even PTSD.
Yes. A lot of that not even just in the military, but people, you think you associate that with the military, but that's outside of the military as well, PTSD.
Yeah, because PTSD is a form of disorder, and it can be from any type of a traumatic, emotional or physical situation that you may have gone to. I personally have gone through PTSD too as well after a car accident, which is when it really hit to me like, oh, this is not just a military thing. this is a disorder that can be touched upon you in the different areas of your life.
Correct. So, again, we're not here to diagnose you. We're not doctors, but you know your spouse, and we spoke about that before. You get the vibes from your significant other, your spouse. So in that case, then you want to seek professional help. Okay. So we're not here to diagnose that. We're just making some points.
Yeah, we're actually just going to share our story and some of the things that we've gone through within our marriage with mental disorders. And a couple of those things have been anxiety, depression, and as I said, PTSD on both ends. So we wanted to kind of get into that, but kind of how we're going to bring that up is most of you guys know Vincent was in the Navy. Vincent is a retired disabled veteran. And I stress the fact that he's a disabled veteran because most people don't think that you're a disabled veteran if they don't physically see a limb or physical damage to your body. But there's so many things that military go through that they have been changed forever throughout their life that affects them emotionally and mentally, and that's not something that you're going to see. So I think, and I don't have the statistics on that, but I think that there's a large number of military personnel who are disabled veterans because of the mental aspect, not just the physical aspect of it.
Correct. And actually, we're just speaking today with a couple people at work. We were talking about some medical things, and I was saying that there's a possibility that I might have to have a hip replacement. So they were like, "What?" Looking at me. I said, "Yeah, I just look like this. You don't know what someone's going through." And again, we'll get into all of that as we're kind of talking, the reason behind that I possibly might have to do that. But that was just funny because they were looking at me like, "There's nothing wrong with you." So it doesn't have to be, something on the outside that, physically. So again, you don't know what's going on with the person. So those were just some things we were kind of speaking about, and they were kind of shocked to hear that.
Yeah, and actually with his hip injury, it actually came from his diagnosis with Crohn's, which leads us back to why you are a disabled veteran. Vincent is retired as a disabled veteran because he was diagnosed with Crohn's while we were stationed overseas in Italy. And typically, if you know me and you've heard me do any type of speaking, I typically say we were diagnosed with Crohn's because we were married and this affected us as a whole. He may have been the one who was given the physical diagnosis, but it definitely affected the entire family.
Yeah, definitely. And on the mental aspect of that, just going through all of that, dealing with the military. Again, we were in Italy, just having medical issues, going back and forth to the doctor, not knowing what's going on. This was in 1999-ish. Eventually they flew me. My family stayed in Italy. They flew me back to Maryland, Bethesda, Maryland. Had a operation, and that was, again, you hear this now on TV. You hear kind of Crohn's. It's kind of common, but then no one kind of heard about it. Didn't know what it was. So the diagnosis was Crohn's disease back then. So at that point, they were, on the verge of, are we going to kick them out? What are we going to do? You know what I mean? So, man, it was just a long process. What they were trying to do is they said, okay, you're going to stay here. So this is after the fact. You're going to stay here. And basically your family's going to be in Italy. So already stressed out.
Technically, no.
Well, you guys are going to have to bring yourselves back.
Well, yes. Okay, this is a little tangent. But okay, for those of you who don't know, Crohn's is a inflammatory disease that affects the large or small intestine. So that's what Vincent has. And just a little background is Vincent was actually a chef, a cook in the Navy. So as he was going through this situation, it was not diagnosed right away while we were overseas in Italy. We didn't know what was going on. We just know that he dropped a lot of weight really quick. And so being overseas and going to try and see specialists overseas was a challenge for us on all parts because for one thing is, again, being stationed in Italy, the specialist was in Germany. And so that meant I had to make a decision. Was I going to go to Vince's appointments with him, or was I going to stay and be with Valencia? or when we went to his appointments in Germany, we had to literally leave her with friends and family who were stationed in Italy for a couple of days so that she can continue to go to school, because we would literally have to travel from Naples, Italy to Germany to see a specialist for him while we were stationed overseas. And it just finally got to a point where they were sending him back to the States, to Bethesda. And it was supposed to just be for tests initially. This is why I had to say, hold on, no, let's get this correct.
It's been some years.
It's been some years. But it was supposed to be a temporary, not even change, it was just supposed to be a temporarily medical leave for him to go back to the States to see specialists and to be treated. But however, the doctor that Vincent had while he was in the military did not agree with certain ways that I felt like things should be going. This doctor did not like to deal with the spouse. Yeah, let me have a moment. This doctor did not like to deal with the spouse, so there was a lot going on for us mentally and physically, if you can imagine. So mentally, Vincent is going through this physically and saying what's going on. He's not sure what's going on. And he's also mentally worried about what's going on with my family. How is Shirley holding up? How's Valencia holding up? Okay, for this 2 weeks that I'm supposed to be back in Bethesda, how is everything going to work out? Is she going to be okay? Because again, we're overseas. Valencia and I are overseas in Italy. So while Vincent was over back in the States, the doctor actually changed his work orders unbeknownst to us, because he was upset that I had went over his head to get some things taken care of with Vincent's admiral, correct? Because you work for the admiral. So now here's another stress that's being put on the family because I had to get involved. And what Vincent will tell you is when we first got married back in Timbuktu, I always told him, I will stay out of your military career as long as your military career doesn't cross over into our household. Once things started crossing over, that's when I have to get in and say, okay, hold up. Because I have to do what's best for our family before anything else. So when I was going to the Admiral, I went to the Admiral because, again, this doctor was misleading us in the information he was telling us and the information he was providing us. And he actually left Vincent in the hospital for a same-day procedure when he wasn't supposed to, and then he left and went on a family trip. And so Shirley Walker King is sitting at home on a Friday saying, y'all said I could pick my husband up at 3 o'clock. When I get back to pick up my husband, they tell me he's not coming home. He can't be released until Tuesday when the doctor comes back. Oh, hell no.
She remembered a lot.
I remember a lot. That's okay. And this wasn't a part of it, but just to give you a background of why we say we can talk about our story and mental health and marriage, because it can definitely hurt your marriage if you're not prepared for it. Sure. So during that time, that's why Vincent said they told him he had to stay at Bethesda. So after this doctor got upset that I went over his head, he actually changed Vincent's orders for Vincent to stay in Maryland and had for me to figure out how to move us back to the States. Right. And so he went around a bunch of things that he shouldn't have been doing because he had no right to change Vincent's orders that way. It was a bunch of mess. It was so confusing.
So luckily I did work for the Admiral, so kind of had the clout at that time, so I had direct contact with him. So all I had to do was make a phone call, and he pretty much ran everything over there. So me working for him, I had to do some name dropping, as you would call it. And anyway, contacted him, and he pretty much got me back over there, flew me back to Italy to arrange the proper pack out to bring my family back to the Maryland area, to start that process.
And when you're dealing with a family member who has a medical or mental illness, and the mental part is coming up, we're saying a medical illness out right now off the back is because once we got diagnosed with Crohn's and we knew what we were dealing with, then we started attacking it and learning and educating ourselves about it. And so we started actually going to support groups, because once you have a family member who has an illness, whether it's medical or mental, the first thing you need to do is research it. Find out as much as you can about it. Find out, what the symptoms are, what the treatments are, and let them know that you're going to be there with them hand in hand to walk them through everything. And I think that's what we were doing. And I think the mental part came because, and I don't think Vincent recognized it then, and we were talking about this before we actually did this, because we wanted to make sure we gave you guys the truth about how we dealt with things. I don't think Vincent really knew that he was going through anxiety at the time, because you can imagine he's physically trying to fight for his life. So I picked up on some of your mood swings and your changes. And these mood swings came because of the illness and because of the medication. Medication can make you mentally unstable if you don't watch yourself.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And you know, being in the military, for those that were in the service, you know, you're kind of taught or told not to complain about things. You just kind of hold it in. And I have a lot of buddies that I pretty much made go to the VA after all of these years to, you know, receive the proper care and get their ratings, because you just pretty much told to suck it up. You know, you don't want to be like a crybaby. You have things going on with yourself. So there was no calling off of work when you were in the military. You know, you just dealt with it. So that's pretty much what I was doing, trying to deal with that, not communicating, as we talked about before in our last episode, just trying to handle everything by myself. When I had my partner here, you know, she picked up on all of that, of course. So she kind of took the wheel and kind of kicked me upside the head to get us kick-started in the journey, you know. And being in Maryland, again, me not understanding what was going on. Sometimes I'll be walking on the base and some of my friends would see me and like, King, hey, like, you okay? And like, you know, I guess it just showed, it was just written all over my face that just something wasn't right, you know. So again, we started going to the support groups. We found a hospital for folks that had Crohn's. Again, it was new back then. And then just seeing the folks that were in there. And then I had a really mild case, a moderate case of it. But folks were really in bad shape. You know, they were going blind from taking the medicine with the hip, with taking the steroids. I had a high dosage at that time. So all these years later, it's affecting my hip, which that's what I'm saying about the possibility of having a hip replacement. But again, I just said, wow, I'm just thankful for having a mild case of it and just able to still live my life and haven't had any really any bad episodes. Yeah.
And again, so you can imagine how that medical situation was playing a part on him mentally. Like you said, with the anxiety, you know, a little of the depression, because you don't know the outcome. The unknown in itself can, you know, make you be anxious and have anxiety about things. And I think you can talk about some of the things that you felt like you had anxiety about. What's, you know?
Yeah, again, just, you know, trying to hold everything in, but okay, what's going to happen next? That's all I knew was the military at that time. So it's just trying to figure out the next move, trying to provide for the family, trying to still be the man of the house, you know, have my wife and my daughter to take care of. So just trying not to fail. Just so many things going through your mind. You know, your head's just spinning, you know, 100 miles a minute. So again, holding it all in, that's the big thing, just holding it all in. I think it really comes to a head if you're not communicating with your partner or someone. And again, I think the support group, I think that definitely helped us out, you know, and going there, speaking there, seeing people with it, how they're dealing with it. So that kind of helped move us forward.
Yeah, I would agree. I think while we were stationed there, again, once we got a name for his medical situation, it helped me put two and two together with the mental side of what could be going on. When I spoke with the specialist and, you know, talked to him about what are some of the things that people who go through Crohn's have, you know, what signs should I be looking for to make sure he is not getting depressed, he's, you know, not having anxiety, because he was having some severe mood swings. And if you know Vincent, he's even tone. So for any type of a 10% mood increase, you know, is really noticeable. And again, it wasn't something that he noticed right off the back. It was something that, you know, we talked about. And I would, you know, kind of say, well, remember this morning when I, you know, inquired about this and you just kind of snapped and went off. And again, Vincent is
Stop touching me, woman.
like that. Vincent is very even tone. So for anything like that to come in and for me to see it, you know, I kind of put a name right to it right away, and I got us some help. I found the support groups for Crohn's, and they helped us find out, you know, talk about things that would happen for him physically and mentally and emotionally. I think also going to marriage counseling definitely helped us. because again, we were able to put a name on it to talk about how this is going to change and adjust our marriage moving forward. Because then we had to talk about how this was going to affect our eating habits, which is a mental thing for me if I can't have my ice cream.
Yeah, and that's all it is. It's just a lifestyle change, I guess, for the better. So your body's going to tell you, that's with anything, what you can and can't eat, you know, what you shouldn't be eating. So just a healthier lifestyle for myself, you know, keeps me fit and trim, my girly figure. So, you know, again, just watching what I eat. Again, my body's going to tell me, no, you can't eat that. But a lot of folks that have the disease, things they can't eat, it doesn't bother me at all.
Right. Going back to ice cream, he can eat ice cream, black walnut all day.
You know, so folks with corn, you know, it just depends on that person, you know, and their body. So they're like, we can't eat this, we can't eat that, and the majority of those things I have no issue with. So just a lifestyle change, and really not claiming that, you know, I just live my life and we just move forward, and but still paying attention, but just not claiming that.
Yeah, and again, you see how a health condition can have an effect on you mentally. And there's so many things that can have effect on you mentally that you don't even associate it with. Like right now, going through this pandemic, with everybody, you know, going through COVID-19. Yeah, it may be a physical thing that, you know, we're having to be quarantined, but this can really affect you mentally, because a lot of people aren't used to, one, being at home this long, two, being at home alone with someone this long, and being told what they can and can't do. Mentally, that can get to you. You know, there are friends and family who we have not been able to physically see for weeks. And so for those people who live alone, that's why I put that post up a couple of weekends ago, is to check in on a friend. If you know someone who's living by themselves right now, this is a great time to check on their mental stability during this COVID-19, because this is a tough thing that everybody's going through. And we're learning as we go through this. So we're all learning this together. So again, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So, and I put that post up because I wanted everybody to check in on a friend. And now real quick, if you don't know how to check in on a friend, you can call them, you can send them a text, you can send them snail mail, because Vincent works for the post office, so we need y'all to support the post office. Thank you very much. You can do a Zoom, you can do a Skype. May is Mental Awareness Month, so please check in on a friend. Check in on your own mental health, making sure you're okay mentally. Make sure that you're doing your prayers. Make sure that you're meditating. Make sure you're being thankful and grateful to things that you do have mentally. And if you feel like you are going through something, we do have some resources that we're going to also give you guys, and I'll make sure I put them on there on the post as well. But I think we just wanted to make sure that we express what we went through or are going through as far as marriage and mental health. And really quick, another one is actually like depression. And I know we have that one because this chick right here went through a stage of depression after we had a car accident. Was that 2016, I think it was?
Yeah, 2016.
Yeah, so 2015, I tore my Achilles. 2016, we were in a car accident. I hurt my back. So here I went from a very active person who played basketball and racquetball and ran. Okay, well, I jogged. I didn't really run. And, you know, was just an active person to a person who was pretty much bed rested for an extended amount of time. And that was a challenge for me, being so independent. Mentally, that took a toll on me. And I didn't even know it until I think Valencia came to you and she was like, why is mommy trying to push me away? You know, why is she snapping at me? And I was like, okay, let me do a mirror check here and find out what's going on. And I really slipped into a depression there because I had to figure out a different lifestyle for myself without all of my physical activities. So I think you guys were able to notice that, because I'm not as even toned as Vincent, but I'm not snappy. I may be direct, but I'm not snappy.
Wait up.
Oh, really?
Valencia, she said I'm not snappy. Oh, she said she's not getting it. She said she's not snappy.
Okay.
Y'all see all this personality. Do y'all think she's not snappy?
I don't think I'm, like I said, I know I can be direct, but at any rate, they told me I was being more snappy than usual. How's that?
More snappy.
Yeah, more snappy than usual. So I did go to the doctor and I did talk to her about what was going on, and lo and behold, the first thing they realized is my vitamin D was low. And as soon as your vitamin D is low, you're opening yourself up for depression.
Right.
So, this California girl had to get herself back out in the sun and to get herself together because I knew my family needed me here, and that depression was not going to take a hold of me and keep a hold of me. So, we've, again, dealt with anxiety. We've dealt with depression, and we've both dealt with PTSD in our marriage, and we're still holding strong. But one of the reasons why we were able to do that is because we identify with each other. We know how each other typically act. So when that person got outside of that norm, we knew that there was something wrong. And when Valencia and Vincent came to me, I was able to admit, okay, it may be time for me to go to the doctor because something is not right. And if you feel like something is not right mentally and physically, the least you could do is talk to a professional about it.
Yeah, and going back with the just the stressors, checking in on folks, and like I was talking about keeping things in and what's going to come next. This is the same thing, with this COVID-19. People are losing their jobs. They're out of work. So now they're thinking about the future. What's next? Mm-hmm. So that's important as well. So if you call somebody and they just say I'm fine, you need to kind of dig a little deeper. How you really doing? Don't just accept I'm fine, because usually folks are that's what they're going to say. Oh, I'm okay, I'm good, I'm fine. So just dig a little deeper. Just keep a little conversation going. My daughter's over here. She's
behind the scene action.
She's a comedian. She got a little stand-up routine. I'll let y'all see it later. But you want to really check in on folks, and again, that's really on their minds right now. What's going to happen? Am I going to get my job back? What's the next move? This. So again, that is very stressful, and you can kind of slip into anything. Drugs, like anything. Not want to live anymore. So check on folks, make sure they're okay. My wife and daughter, they'll drive by, drop stuff off to my mom. They ride out. Her mom lives in Fort Worth, like about 45 minutes. Go out there. Usually she's okay. She'll say I'm fine, but they'll ride out there anyway. It's always good to see somebody. It's all if that's all you can do is text or call, but it's always good to see a face, if not but just from the car window. Hey, how you doing? So that always helps. So just continue to check on folks and make sure they're doing okay.
Yeah, I would agree. And then real quick, I'll give some of the numbers we have out. You can put on your readers too. Okay, so some of the lines we talked about, of course, mental illness or disorders range from alcohol abuse to anxiety, mood disorders, depression, bipolar, personality, eating disorders, phobias, and PTSD. There's a wide range of those. Again, we're not trying to diagnose anyone. We just wanted to share our story and how our marriage has survived mental health, mental awareness, okay? So there is a Substance Abuse and Mental Service Administration. Their phone number is 800-662-4357. Again, that's the Substance Abuse and Mental Service Administration. You can reach them at 1-800-662-4357.
The next one is National Alliance on Mental Illness, 800-950-NAMO 6262. That's 800-950-6262.
Yep. Go ahead.
Next one is the Veterans Crisis Line, 800-273-8255, or text a message to 838-255. Again, Veterans Crisis Line, 800-273-8255, or text 838-255.
And then there's a National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, which is 800-273-8255. Again, that number is 800-273-8255, and that's for the National Suicide Prevention Hotline or Lifeline.
And the last is the Crisis Text Line. Text Connect to 741-741. Crisis Text Line. Text Connect to 741-741.
Yep, so again, this one in the synopsis was basically marriage and mental health. We just wanted everybody to know that your marriage can survive if you or your spouse are going through a mental health situation or mental health disorder. You can survive it. You just have to be able to communicate. You have to be able to get some help about it. and you also have to be able to go through the process with the other person. You don't want them to go through anything alone. You married that person because you love that person, or you're dating that person because you love that person, or you're engaged to that person because you love that person. So why wouldn't you want to help them move through anything that they're going through?
Right. And with myself, and a lot of you probably didn't even know about the Crohn's disease. I've had some coworkers that I spoke to. A couple kids had it. So back in Ohio, same thing. So just able to give them some information. And I can imagine being, 17, being diagnosed with something like that. And that was about 15 years ago, where I talked to a few people. Me a little bit older, just being able to deal with it better. But at that age, and not knowing what's going on, because it affects your entire digestive tract. So again, depending on the person, the severity of it. So, it's just good to speak on things, whatever you might have going on. I know things are personal, but if you can help someone, please do so. We just urge everyone to still continue to stay safe. Lord say the same. We'll see you guys next week. Give us some feedback on what you want us to touch on next week. Or we have something.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, we didn't say. Drop your comments below if you have any questions below. Melissa, do we have any questions? I'm working on it. We're gonna get there.
No, just some comments. Everyone kind of just listening to your story, and I believe Brent said he also had someone who was diagnosed with Crohn's too. So, yeah.
Yes, a friend from one of my good friends in Ohio, his daughter. So I actually spoke to her, and that's been some years ago. Just to kind of give her some pointers, or some folks who maybe she can again get into a support group, and I think she's doing good right now.
Yep, so this has been the King and I Facebook Live topic, marriage and mental health. Even though you may be going through something, talk to somebody struggling, you guys can make it through.
And cut.